Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm from Houzz, Australia. I'm the Partnerships Manager for Asia Pacific, and I'm really excited to take you through this webinar today, which is a Houzz hosted webinar, but it's in collaboration with SPASA Victoria. So it's just for their members, which is quite exciting. And our session on today is all about how to build your professional profile with Houzz. So a couple of things, we're using GoToWebinar today to run through the session. If at any point you have any questions or comments or anything, you can ping those to me directly. Just on the control panel that's on the right-hand side, you'll see there's a section called questions or chat. You could pop your questions or comments in either of those for me to see. I will also be recording this session, so if you feel like you miss anything or anything like that, don't worry, because I'll be able to send you a recording of this later this week. So on the screen is the agenda for today and just what I will be running through. So basically, I'll be diving into digital branding and knowing your audience, then show you a couple of tips and tricks on how you can really maximize your Houzz presence. I'll show how you can really maximize your connections and how you do connect to other professionals on Houzz. How to use online forums to engage and win prospective clients, increasing your brand's reach through editorial opportunities, and just general tips on how to collaborate with your clients online. So, for those that have joined today, you probably know a little bit about Houzz. SPASA Victoria has had quite a lot to do with Houzz for a couple of years now. We've done a couple of different workshops and EDMs and emails and webinars and things. So you should have definitely seen our name, at least, or our logo, at least around the place. For those that are completely fresh to us, Houzz is the world's largest online platform for home design and renovation. We're this fantastic platform that connects homeowners, so regular renovators and users and people that own their own homes in Australia, connects those people to design and build professionals. So for professionals like yourselves in the design and build industry, Houzz is this fantastic website where you can build your brand, reach new clients, and just work smarter rather than harder online. Just a little bit about where we started. We do get a lot of questions about this because we are originally a US company, and on the screen here is a Dee and a Lon, and they're a husband and wife who founded the company. So basically, they moved across the country from New York to Palo Alto, where they bought their first home, and they started to renovate this home, and they had so many issues with this renovation. So they really struggled to find the right professionals for the job, the right products, the right service people, the right photos, just for inspiration as a starting point. And they really saw that this was a huge opportunity and a huge kind of pain point for consumers. So they decided to do something about it. And they really used their technology backgrounds to create this one-stop shop. This platform that has turned into Houzz now, that basically provides this end-to-end solution for anything to do in the home design, home decoration, and home building industry. So from that struggle, Houzz was born, and since then, it's gone on to really create these 5 distinct layers of Houzz that you see on the screen here. So we have our photo stream, our editorial section, our product section, discussions, so online forum, and our service directory of home design professionals. And these 5 layers are really, they're quite distinct, but they're very well interconnected, and they're tied together by such smart technology that is really a leader in our field. And this technology ties all the layers together and just, like I said, provides this end-to-end solution for anything to do in the home design space. So those 5 layers that I just touched on, they are apparent on any single photo on Houzz. So on Houzz, we have these beautiful images that come up again and again that are uploaded by professionals just like you. And each of these layers are connected on every photo. So obviously, I can look at this photo and I can get inspired, but I can also see the professional behind this work, which is so important. So not only is the designer or builder that uploaded this photo credited and watermarked on the photo, but you also get the opportunity to link back to your profile, link back to your website, write a project description or a photo description, and include so many details. So when our consumers look at your photo, they get not just information about the project, but about you as well. From a photo, I could also read any articles that this photo has been featured in. I could ask a question directly on this photo. I could see the products that are tagged within this photo as well. And that just creates such interconnection that our consumers love. And of course, then our consumers and our users come back again and again to use Houzz. And because of that, our community has grown to have over 40 million users worldwide coming on every single month. Just in Australia, we have 1.5 million users, and we have now ticked over to having 16 million photos on the website, which is a really exciting number when you consider that every photo has actually been uploaded by professionals, designers themselves. So not only do we have this huge audience, but we also know a lot about our users and about our audience, and we know that they are a fantastic audience for our professionals. So we want to look after our professionals a lot, and we, in doing that, go really deep into kind of user analytics to find out who is using Houzz. And from all of that research and surveys that we do, we know that our audience, 90% own their own home, over 50% renovated within the past 12 months, and they spend an average of 4.5 months in the planning cycle of any renovations, which is really exciting. And those stats are specific to just Australia, which is really cool. So this isn't a global stat, this is just Australia. So you can see that this is a fantastic target demographic for you to put your work in front of. We also ask our audience during all this research just what's the most important thing for them when they look to hire a professional. And it's some really interesting criteria that comes up, which I think is very much in favor of good local designers. So we can see that above and beyond, number one, good reviews and recommendations is what people are looking for online. So yes, people, when they maybe hear a recommendation from their friend or from someone in their family that's used another professional, they might hear that word of mouth recommendation, which is fantastic, but they always Google you and validate that opinion online with online reviews. So good reviews and good recommendations online are very important. They also look for someone who is clearly an expert in their field. Just under that is someone that has a personality they can actually get along with and someone that they would actually like to work with. Completed projects similar to mine. And what is fantastic is that the lowest cost option comes right at the bottom at 9%. So people are doing renovations and they're not just hiring just off the dollar value alone. 85 times, this number on the screen, this is how many times the average person looks at their phone every single day, which is very kind of shocking, but not shocking at the same time. And basically, the footnote to that is that we are clearly a very digital society. So when it comes to building your brand and building out these different profiles online, it is so important to, number one, be online, but number two is to be actually mobile optimized and be able to be found and searched for on a mobile device, because that is where people are spending so much time. When we research the millennials, actually, we can see a lot of like really standout pointers of them. The number one is that my smartphone never leaves my site day or night at 87% of those that we researched. At 80% when I wake up, my phone is the first thing I reach for. So these kind of statements are not that shocking in this digital age, but they are things that you should really be made aware of because these do impact your business. If you are online, but you know your website doesn't in the whole renovation process. So this empowered client is that perfect demographic that you really do want to get in front of. So to get work in front of this empowered client, it's all about building your brand in a couple of different ways. So one thing to remember is to try and cultivate some nice stalkers. So we know that this younger audience and this audience that are really kind of online all the time and that are looking for professionals to hire, they are stalking you basically online, and they want to really get to know you and your work as well as just your business in general. And the way that they do that is online. So you want to start to create some micro moments online. You want to appeal to people's emotions as well as their rational thinking. You also want to make sure that they feel empowered in this whole process. So not that just you are putting on your different design aesthetics and your ideas straight, kind of sticking that straight onto their space, but that they are actually just a really willing and a really engaged participant in the whole design and build process. So I'm going to go over just a couple of ways in which we can cultivate these nice stalkers. So one way you can see your actual stalkers and the people that are very much engaged in your work is by looking at your followers and how many people are following you on all of your different platforms. So of course, if you have a website, you can see those different analytics and numbers through your website analytics. But also on your profile, like on Houzz, you can see how many people are following you and how many people are saving your work as well. That can give you a really good indication of how kind of successful or how strong your profile is at this stage. So when it comes to Houzz, the photo section is very much important, and that is where our users and our audience spends the most amount of time. Just in general, how you can actually be found on Houzz is quite diverse. Definitely the photo section is the #1 way people find you. So people are either searching on their desktop or on a mobile or a tablet, and most of the time an Aussie audience looks at photos before they then click through to your actual company name and to your profile itself to check out a little bit more about what you do. But just know that on your Houzz profile that you can create for free at any time, that profile, any photo you upload to it automatically goes into this photo stream. So like I said, this is where people spend the most amount of time. So it's important to update your profile with recent photos and just fantastic imagery as well. So professional photos are always the most popular, but of course you can upload non-professional photos as well, but just know that the professional photos are always going to be the most kind of clicked on or the most viewed. People can also find you through our directory. So our directory is called Find Pros or Find a Pro. This is where you can see all of the businesses listed on Houzz, and you can search by category, and you can also search by location. So there's a couple of different ways in which you can really build up and increase your ranking in this directory. So you have signed up on Houzz with a professional profile. Again, you're automatically listed in this section, so that is one box ticked. But it really comes down to how much you are doing on your profile, how much you're engaging, how much you're updating, that can really affect how highly you are ranked in this section. We also have an amazing marketing and branding program called Pro Plus, which allows you to actually geo-target your audience in this section and in our photo section. And it does guarantee that you are seen on the first page of this Find Pros directory. So that's something that I'll talk about a little bit later that can actually guarantee you exposure as well. We also have our product section. So this is another way that you are found and that people can click through to your profile. It works very similar to our photo section, although of course it's just product driven. So this is a fantastic place for you to be found as a retailer or as a brand, but also as a design professional or a build professional. This is a great section to find local makers and retailers and brands as well. Our story section is another way to get some amazing exposure. This is where our local in-house editorial team writes some amazing stories, but you as a professional can actively be involved in editorial as well. So if you've just recently completed an amazing project, or you fancy yourself a bit of a writer, or you want to get into writing a little bit more, you can do so with our editorial team by emailing our editor, getting in touch with them, because they are always looking for professional local contributors to contribute to our editorial section. The fifth place that you can really be found and get a lot of exposure on Houzz is through our discussion section. So this is under the advice last tab. A fantastic place to start a discussion, comment on a discussion, ask a question, post a poll, just to get involved in the community. And this community involves not just other professionals, but the wider community as well. And our audience loves when professionals get involved here and when they show off their work or provide a bit of expertise to maybe a design dilemma. So don't overlook this section, really get involved, because of course, every comment you leave or every discussion you post just links back to your profile as well. So you're really getting your name and your company, your business name, sorry, just really out there as well. So those 5 sections always drive people back to your professional page. So a typical Houzz profile looks like this. So you can see already this is quite a fleshed out, quite robust profile. And this is something that you want your profile to look like as well. So there's a couple of different ways in which on your profile, we can really make your profile stand out and just definitely maximize your exposure across all of those different 5 layers of Houzz. So to go back to this one, you can see immediately that a lot of the sections of this profile have been filled out. So Fiona here, who is the main contact for Von House Design Studio, she has really ticked a lot of boxes on this profile to make sure that her information is filled out, be that the contact information and the business description or overview. She has some amazing projects with high quality photos, 6 reviews, which is great. She's got quite a lot of followers. Her social media links are all there. And in turn, she's actually been awarded a couple of different Houzz badges as well. This is a great looking profile just as a starting point. Just a very first and quite small tip, but it is quite important. Your profile photo, which is this square photo on the left-hand side, on Houzz, people connect with faces a lot more than logos. So if you are a brand that is representing yourself online, I know that you're your logo is your branding, and it is very important. But just know that about 90% of users will click on a profile with someone's face over their logo. So very simple point, people connect with faces a lot more. So if you're quite comfortable in putting your headshot on there, or maybe a team shot or something, I would definitely recommend that you do that over your logo. Also, when it comes to followers and following people on just online on any platform that you have or any profile that you have, it does look better when you are following other people. And by following other businesses in your area, brands that you love, other professionals that you love, and just other users that you've worked with as well, that can really start building up your own community within your profile. It can also make sure that your homepage is a little bit more tailored and personalized for you. But just as a new user to your profile, it always looks a little bit better if I can see you're following a couple of people rather than if you're just following no one. It does look kind of like you're just not that much engaged in the community. So as just a little pro tip, I would go into that Find Post section, particularly if you're a SPASA Victoria member, which you are. That's a fantastic starting point to just jump onto the SPASA Vic profile, follow them, they'll most likely follow you back, and then follow some other members as well. That will immediately get your followers and your engagement up just a little bit higher as well, which is fantastic and very easy to do. Then when it comes to editing your settings, so when you sign up to Houzz, you fill out a lot of business information and contact information. Just know that you can edit all of that info at any time. So if you go into Edit Profile, which is this highlighted button on the right, you click into that. This then gives you this full overview of all of your account information and your public business info as well. You can edit this as many times as you like, whenever you like. And it is important because this is obviously publicly displayed. And this is really where people get to know your business. So they want to know about all of the services you provide, the areas you serve. You obviously want all your contact info to be accurate and up to date and easily read. But also add in any certifications you've won. If you haven't added your SPASA Victoria member badge, make sure you do that, because just the more information you can add here, obviously the more information then the consumer has, so they can be a very well-informed consumer before they even pick up the phone and get in contact with you. Another thing is link up all your socials. So within this editing section, we have our social media settings section, and make sure you link up all of your other platforms. So if I'm on your Houzz profile, yes, I can check out everything you've done on Houzz, but if I'm really interested in you, I'm definitely going to click onto your website. I'm going to click onto your Facebook, maybe your LinkedIn, maybe your blog or your Instagram, just to check out everything you do. And that can really help just with the whole decision-making process. So link up all your social as well on Houzz. You can also go into the advanced settings, and this is where you can change how many emails and notifications you receive from us, which is very important. You can personalize all of those notifications. We also have on the right-hand side of your profile this activity section. So within this activity section, you can see all of your recent activity. If you've left any comments or posts in the discussion section, you can follow those discussions really closely in this activity section as well, which is really important. So you can stay on top of all of that. Also, you can directly message any professional on Houzz. So you yourself can do that, but obviously what is kind of more important for your own profile is just to know that users, homeowners, consumers on Houzz, they can click this Contact Me button on your profile, which then basically sends you a direct message to your profile. It will also email you, and all of those direct messages will sit under this message section of your profile. So do check that out like periodically, because maybe you'll miss the email. But just know that all of your messages will always stay in this message inbox as well, because a lot of the time these are project inquiries that are quite important. So you would want to get kind of on top of those and reply to those quite quickly as well. So going into community engagement, which is really your secret weapon for getting new clients. So within your profile, reviews are so important. So I showed earlier that reviews and recommendations are the #1 decision making factor when it comes to hiring a professional. Know that on your profile, you can ask clients to review you, and they can review you at any time. So your clients can review you, your colleagues, maybe other collaborators or professionals you've worked with. Just know that reviews are very important, obviously with the decision-making process for any potential client, but specifically for Houzz and just how you can build your brand and get more exposure. Reviews are pretty much the #1 way to get a higher ranking in that Find Pros directory section that I showed a little bit earlier. So all of your reviews will sit under, this reviews tab just here. And just know as well that you can respond to any review that you get. So any review that comes through, it's always important to say thank you and just acknowledge that the client took out the time to actually write that review for you, especially if it is a very glowing review. You can say thank you, and you can also always respond to any slightly more negative reviews as well, which is just as important, if not even more important, because a bad review, like this professional Kristen Petro says, is an opportunity to explain your company and its process in a way that you can't via your Houzz business description or website. So I know with online reviews it can be quite tricky, and a negative one is quite kind of a black thumb on that. But just know that it is such a fantastic opportunity to show off your customer service and just show off a little bit about what your business does, and to justify your decision-making process as well. So like Kristen says, standing behind the principles and ethics of good business sometimes means saying no to a client. If that yields a bad review, so be it, but you must maintain your professionalism and can't be emotional in your response. There is a life after a bad review. Question section. So on this question section, this is quite similar to the activity section that I just showed, but questions are specific to any photo that you have uploaded to your profile. So when you upload a photo to your profile under your projects, the community on Houzz has the opportunity to ask you a question directly on this section. So you can find all of those questions under the questions tab on your profile. And just know that unlike the message section, questions are all public. So don't feel like you have to answer every single question that comes onto your profile or onto your photos. But it is a really great opportunity to show off your expertise, to maybe say thank you and to answer the question, and just get a little bit more involved in the community. If at any point someone asks you a question that is very specific, or you think you would be giving away way too many secrets by answering that question, don't feel obliged to answer it at all. A really great trick that I've seen a lot of professionals use is to just say, thank you so much for your question or your inquiry. If you wanted to know more about this work, please email me at olivia@houzz.com. That way, if they are genuinely interested, they will email you. And it also just keeps kind of all of those nitty-gritty details just off the public space and in a more personal email. Direct engagement really builds brands. So this question section that I just spoke about, and also in the advice section where all of our bigger discussions sit, this is a really fantastic opportunity to build direct engagement. So this comment on the screen here from Davenport, this is a very similar example to what I was just mentioning. Thanks for your question. And then they go into more of the details about what this question was. So you can either choose to do what Davenport did and be very public and give away all of your insight and expertise to definitely build up that engagement straight away, or you can choose to do this by email as well. But just know that really digging deep and answering questions, showing off some expertise in this advice section and in that question section of the site, that can just build up so much engagement, and it can really just, like I said earlier, just be your secret weapon for getting clients. It should be noted as well that when you are answering any question in any of these discussions or just leaving a comment on any discussion, it not only appears as a comment within this section of the site, but your comment is also visible just from your profile. So if I come across your profile and I see, oh, Olivia Design has commented on 30 discussions just on your profile, I can obviously see, oh, okay, they're very engaged, definitely. They're quite an expert and very willing to give away quite a lot of information, which can be a huge win for me as a potential client. And it might just be the thing that tips me over to pick up the phone and actually call you as a client. I should note as well that in this section, you can really tailor this advice section to your own topics and your topics of interest, it should say. So basically, you can definitely filter all of these discussions to say, okay, I'm a pool and landscape professional, so I want to see the discussions that are mostly about the outdoors, about landscapes, backyards, pools and spas, just so this is very much tailored to me, and so all of these discussions are very easy for me to leave quite an insightful comment or question on. So share your expertise, jump in the design dilemmas. A before and after is even a great way to just dip your toe in the discussion pool, as it were. People love to see a before and after, so that might be a fantastic thing to do as just your very first discussion in this discussion section. We have pro to pro section as well, where you can actually engage with other professionals. So if you want to use our discussion section, not just to engage in the wider community, but actually to show off that you are having a great trade discount or trade event or something like that, you can post that just to the professionals in our discussion section as well. And this is a fantastic screenshot of what I was just speaking about earlier, in that any comment you leave or any question you write in any of the discussion section, those comments will appear on your profile right here, so I can really be sure that you are very much engaged in the community. It can also be a fantastic place to just gain market insight. So we've seen this with professionals posting similar polls to this, or polls or different discussions to this, seeing fixed head showers, yes or no, yay or nay to open plan kitchens. This is just a great way that professionals and brands and retailers are really using this discussion section to build out their professional profile and gain a little bit of market insight from the local community. So a couple of really great tips specifically for how you can build up your community engagement. Then something slightly different when it comes to editorial and just how you can build out your professional profile on Houzz using editorial. Like I said, we have this story section that is fueled by our local in-house editorial team. So you can find all of these fantastic articles in this section on a whole range of different topics, indoor, outdoor, huge, amazing multi-million-dollar houses to quite small rentals and fun things, lifestyle images, lifestyle stories, DIY jobs, all of these kind of topics can be found in this section. But our editorial team are always very eager and willing to engage with our professionals a little bit more as well. So if you would like to write for editorial or get a little bit more involved in the editorial side of things, do not be shy or don't be a stranger at all, because they are very much interested in hearing from our local community. So you can submit an article to the editor, an actual project and photos for a Houzz tour, or you can just submit a couple of different design ideas for writing about design or trends or anything like that that you have a bit of an interest in writing in. You can submit those. And commenting on articles is a fantastic way to do that. So that is some fantastic way just to get a little bit more exposure from articles that you know people's eyes are on pretty much daily. And that really ties back to that earlier criteria that I did show, that communication always beats cost. So I do talk about our discussion section and our editorial section so much because we know that communication, personality, organization skills, they are all things that people really connect with. Definitely resonates with local users, particularly in Australia. So make sure that you're putting your brand's personality and you're communicating really well online across Houzz, but also across any other platform that you're using online. Then I want to just dive into collaborating using Houzz. So with your profile on Houzz, be it a Pro Plus profile or a free profile that you create on houzz.com.au, you can use Houzz to really start to collaborate with your users and with your clients. So a lot of people come across Houzz via their clients because clients have shown them their own idea books that they've created and their own photos that they've started to save on their profiles. This is a fantastic thing because you can see, okay, your clients are already using this platform that you are trying to get a little bit more exposure out of as well. So an idea book is basically a virtual scrapbook online. So this is where you can save any single photo, profile, discussion, story. You can save all of those things into an idea book. So like a little virtual scrapbook, you can save your notes, your photos, all of that information about a project in one place. So the great thing about that is, yes, as a professional, if I like this photo, I can click on the save button, save it into my idea book, and maybe I'll write a little note about what it is I like about that image. And that saves into that dedicated idea book. Of course, if I'm a client or a potential renovator or homeowner, I can do the exact same thing. Now, the really powerful function of idea books is this collaborate button up the top. So this button allows you to invite other people into your idea book so you can both be sharing ideas. So if myself as the professional invites my clients into this idea book just by putting in their email address here, I can make them an editor. I could make this a private or a public idea book. I can save all those settings, and that just means that we can both be saving photos into this idea book. We can both be writing notes in this idea book, just so we can really kind of tap into what this project should look like, and just so we can really be on the same page for this project. So if you do that to any of your idea books, you can see on the page that, yes, this one is private, it's also shared. Whereas if I look at this garden and outdoors idea book, that it is not shared and it's just a public idea book. So just so you know, that is how you can distinguish what is what on your idea books. And then this is really where you can just start to articulate what it is you want and what it is the client wants for their space. By saving different photos, writing notes about what it is that you like, you don't like, what you were envisioning for that area. And this can just really cut through all of those different Dropbox or WeTransfer links or multiple emails about a certain photo. Why not just save it into an idea book, both write notes under that photo, and then that is saved and good to go. Now, I've mentioned Pro Plus a few times during this session. This is our local targeted branding program. So basically, with a profile on Houzz, you can grow your business just completely organically at no cost, doing kind of all of these different tips and tricks that I've spoke about, like making sure you follow people, uploading some photos, putting in a lot of information in your profile, getting some reviews, engaging in editorial in our discussion and advice section. But if you really want to tap in a little bit deeper and more locally and get a lot more exposure very locally in your own area, you can do so with Pro Plus. So Pro Plus allows you to really kind of dominate a particular market and a particular category. So say I'm an interior designer and I really want to dominate East Melbourne as an area. I can do that. So I can basically purchase that area, so that location and that category. And that means that anyone in East Melbourne looking for an interior designer or looking for any work that is similar to my work, they are going to see me again and again and again. And it's just going to link back to my profile and really just guarantee me as the designer a lot of exposure and impressions. So all of this exposure comes in a couple of different ways. So number one, that is sitting on the screen here, is via sponsored photos in the photos section. So I did mention photos before, and this section being the most popular section of the whole site. This is typically where people find you the most. So it's important to get a lot of exposure here. So within a sponsored photo, you not only get just a regular photo like this top one looks like, you get an additional byline, some additional characters to write a lot more about your profile. You get 6 additional click-throughs, a call to action button, and geo-targeted placement, which ultimately is the most important thing. So looking at a regular photo here, this is what a regular photo with a free profile looks like versus what a sponsored photo looks like within the photo stream. And you can see it is quite native to the site. It doesn't look like a big flashy ad or anything. It still looks beautiful, and it just really encourages people in your local area to find you and your work and to click through and contact you. You also get enhanced directory placement in our Find Pros directory. So that makes sure that when people are searching for a pool builder or designer or landscaper, that they will find you and they'll find you in your area again and again. You also get sponsored placement in the Find Pros section, so guaranteeing that you're on that first page, as well as locally targeted ads in our editorial section and the advice section, which is fantastic. As well as in our newsletter that goes out twice a week. And the ads that go in here, again, are locally targeted. So the people in your area, when they receive this newsletter, they will see your call to action button as well. So your profile gets a bit of a zhuzh up as well. So we saw that really robust profile and what that looked like earlier, very similar to this one. But a Pro Plus one takes things up even further with some additional features and additional byline. And just, again, it's all about making you stand out, particularly to your local audience where you know that's where your prospective clients are really sitting. Also, you get access to a whole range of different analytics. So analytics go by profile as well as by photo. So you can see photo impressions, profile impressions, clicks, ads to idea books, a whole range of really in-depth analytics. And you also get call and message tracking. So you can just track every single lead and inquiry that comes from your house profile a whole lot easier. And you get all of these benefits of the program on any device. So I spoke earlier about the importance of just being visible and being very much exposed on a mobile device. Houzz will definitely do that for you, particularly on Pro Plus. And almost the best thing about the whole thing is your account manager. So you get a fantastic account manager that can make sense of all of these analytics for you. They can go through your tracking. They can give you really specific, fantastic tips for your profile to make sure your profile is working its absolute hardest and doing the best it can do for you. So you get that for the for the life of your program, and all of these different benefits. And for SPASA Victoria members, you actually get a fantastic discount on Pro Plus. So you do get a 15% discount. So if anyone is interested in just learning more about Pro Plus, maybe you want to know a little bit more about the numbers, the program itself, anything like that, please just email me directly and I can pass you on to the team and they can give you all of that additional information as well. So just to recap about what we spoke about today, everything about building your professional profile on Houzz. Make sure you tell your story, make a human connection, make it on a mobile as well. Follow others in your community to build out your follower base and your actual engagement of the profile. Link up your social, be proactive, respond to reviews, request reviews. Our discussion section, make sure you are engaging in that. If editorial is something you are interested in, definitely tap into those opportunities and use idea books to collaborate from the very early days of any project. We have a lot of additional resources online, so please have a look at all of these. Of course, you can email me directly for any questions. My email is on the screen. But you can also keep up to date on event details. There's a whole range of other webinars and tutorials online, as well as just FAQs, support, articles, and tips for our professionals as well. So all of these links are really fantastic to check out. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you in our additional SPASA Victoria webinars. Again, please let me know any other questions you may have. Please email me directly, and thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.